There are 9 levels of intelligence. 9. And most people, most of the world, will die stuck somewhere between level 1 and level 3. They will never know why life felt so heavy, why they kept losing, why others seemed to move through the world with ease while they struggled for scraps. This is not about IQ. This is not about degrees or diplomas or how many books sit on your shelf. This is about something far more dangerous. This is about how deeply you see, how far ahead you calculate, how invisible you can become while remaining the most powerful force in any room. Machiavelli understood this. The 48 Laws understood this. And today, you will understand this. Stay until the end, because what I am about to reveal does not exist in classrooms. It exists in shadows, in silence, in the cold space between strategy and execution. Let us begin. Level 1, the unconscious mind. This is where most human beings are born, live and die without ever realizing they never woke up. They breathe, they eat, they work, they sleep, they repeat. But they are not truly alive. They are running on programming, old programming, programming installed by parents who were also asleep, by teachers who never questioned anything, by a society that benefits from keeping minds dim and docile. The unconscious mind does not ask questions. It does not wonder why things are the way they are. It simply accepts. It obeys. It follows the path that was carved by someone else and calls it fate. This is not intelligence. This is automation. This is a biological machine dressed in human skin, performing routines it never chose, chasing goals it never set, living a life designed by forces it cannot see and will never confront. Machiavelli wrote about these people. He called them the masses, the crowd, the many. He understood that the unconscious mind is not a threat, it is a tool. It is a resource to be moved, shaped, directed. The unconscious do not compete for power because they do not know power exists. They think life is about comfort, security, fitting in. They measure success by the approval of others. They measure happiness by the absence of conflict. And in doing so, they hand over their entire existence to those who operate at higher levels. You may have been here once, you may still be here now, and that is not an insult. That is a diagnosis, because the first step to becoming untouchable is admitting where you truly stand. Not where you wish you were, not where your ego tells you that you are, but where your actions, your results, and your reality actually place you. The unconscious mind is comfortable. That is its trap. It feels safe because it demands nothing, it asks nothing, it risks nothing. But a life of nothing produces exactly that. Nothing, no legacy, no impact, no power. If you're still here, this video is your alarm. This is the moment the sleep ends. Because once you see this level for what it is, you cannot unsee it, and you will never forgive yourself if you stay. Level 2, the reactive mind. This is the person who has woken up just enough to feel pain. They are no longer fully asleep. They sense that something is wrong. They notice the chains. But instead of studying those chains, instead of understanding how they were built and who holds the keys, they simply thrash. They react. Every emotion that hits them becomes an action. Every insult becomes a war. Every setback becomes a collapse. The reactive mind is a slave to stimulus. It does not choose its responses. It is chosen by whatever enters its field of awareness. Someone disrespects them and they explode. An opportunity appears and they hesitate. A challenge arrives and they crumble. This is not strength. This is not even survival. This is existence at the mercy of external forces. Machiavelli warned against this. He wrote that, "A prince who acts on emotion is a prince who will not rule for long." The reactive mind gives away its power in every moment. It tells the world exactly what it feels, exactly when it feels it, and exactly how to control it. You become predictable. And predictability is death. The man who reacts is the man who can be baited, manipulated, and destroyed without ever seeing the trap. His enemies do not need to fight him, they simply need to provoke him. They simply need to wait for him to destroy himself. And he always does. This level is dangerous because it disguises itself as passion, as authenticity, as being real. Society celebrates the reactive mind. It calls it honesty. It calls it keeping it real. But this is a lie told by those who profit from your chaos. The powerful do not react. They respond. There is a difference. Reaction is instant, emotional, uncontrolled. Response is calculated, measured, strategic. Reaction gives your enemy information. Response gives them nothing. If you find yourself constantly putting out fires you did not start, constantly exhausted by battles you did not choose, constantly drained by conflicts that seem to find you wherever you go, you are here. Level 2. The reactive mind. And until you learn to master the space between stimulus and response, you will remain a puppet. The strings may be invisible, but the hands pulling them are very real. Level 3. The tribal mind. Here is where most of humanity gets permanently stuck. This is the level that feels like progress, but is actually a more sophisticated prison. The tribal mind has moved beyond pure reaction. It has found something to belong to, a group, a label, an identity, and in that belonging it believes it has found power, but it has only traded one master for another. The tribal mind doesn't think for itself, it thinks in groups. It adopts opinions because its circle holds those opinions. It attacks enemies because its tribe has declared them enemies. It defends ideas it has never examined because those ideas carry the logo of its identity. This is herd programming at its finest, and it is everywhere. Politics, religion, nationalism, even the groups that claim to be awakened and enlightened operate on tribal mechanics. The tribal mind feels strong because it stands with many. But this is an illusion. Numbers do not equal power, numbers equal noise. The moment the tribe shifts, the tribal mind shifts with it. The moment the group changes its beliefs, the individual changes too. There is no anchor, there is no self, there is only the desperate need to remain included. Machiavelli understood tribes better than anyone. He studied how leaders rise by uniting groups, then control those groups through shared enemies and shared symbols. The tribal mind is not the leader, it is the led. It is the mass that gets pointed in a direction and marches without asking where or why. You will recognize this level by its language. Us versus them, we versus they. The tribal mind cannot see individuals, it only sees categories. And because it sees in categories, it can be controlled through categories. Feed it an enemy and it will fight. Feed it a cause and it will march. Feed it an identity and it will die for something it never truly understood. Breaking free from level 3 requires something terrifying. It requires standing alone. It requires questioning the very groups that gave you comfort. It requires accepting that belonging is not the same as becoming. The tribe will call you a traitor. It will try to pull you back. But the man who seeks true power must learn to walk without a herd. The sovereign path is not a crowded one. Level 4. The rational mind. Now we enter territory that most people believe is the peak of intelligence. This is the level of logic, analysis, critical thinking. The rational mind questions what it is told. It examines evidence, it builds arguments. It prides itself on being reasonable, measured, objective, and compared to the levels below, it is indeed a significant leap. But here is the truth that the rational mind does not want to hear. Logic alone is not power. The rational mind makes a fatal error. It assumes that the world operates on reason. It believes that if it presents the right facts, the right arguments, the right evidence, it will win. It believes that truth rises to the top, that merit is rewarded, that the best idea will always prevail. This is a beautiful delusion, and it keeps rational people powerless their entire lives. Machiavelli did not write for rational men. He wrote for effective men. He understood that human beings are not moved by logic. They are moved by emotion, by fear, by desire, by perception. The rational mind speaks to the brain, but the brain does not make decisions. The gut does, the heart does, The survival instinct does. And while the rational man is busy constructing his perfect argument, the man who understands human nature has already won. This level is filled with intelligent people who cannot understand why they keep losing. They have the degrees, they have the knowledge, they have the correct analysis, yet they watch as less qualified, less logical, less deserving individuals rise above them. And they call it unfair. They call it broken. They call it corruption. But it is none of these things. It is simply the game operating exactly as it always has. The rational mind sees the world as it should be. The powerful mind sees the world as it is. There is logic, and then there is leverage. There is being right, and then there is being effective. They are not the same. If you are stuck at level 4, you have developed a powerful tool, but you do not yet know how to wield it. Your logic must become a weapon in service of strategy, not a substitute for it. Reason without influence is just noise that nobody hears. Level 5 awaits. Level 5, the strategic mind. This is where the game truly begins. Everything before this was preparation. Everything before this was clearing the fog from your eyes so you could finally see the board. The strategic mind does not just think. It calculates. It does not just act. It positions. Every move is connected to a larger sequence. Every decision is made with 3, 5, 10 steps in mind. While others play checkers, reacting to whatever is directly in front of them, the strategic mind is playing chess in a room where no one else even knows a game is being played. This is the level where Machiavelli begins to smile. This is the level where the cold logic of power meets the heat of ambition. The strategic mind understands something that the lower levels never grasp. The world does not reward the deserving. It rewards the prepared. It rewards those who position themselves at the intersection of opportunity and readiness. Luck is not random. Luck is what happens when preparation becomes invisible. The strategic mind engineers its own luck. It does not wait for doors to open. It studies the architecture of buildings and learns where doors will be built before others even know construction has begun. But strategy is not just about advancement. It is equally about protection. The strategic mind thinks in terms of risk, exposure, and vulnerability. It asks questions that others ignore. What can go wrong? Who benefits if I fail? Where are my blind spots? What am I not seeing because I do not want to see it? This level requires the death of ego, because ego distorts strategy. Ego makes you attack when you should retreat. Ego makes you defend when you should abandon. Ego makes you visible when you should be invisible. The strategic mind learns to separate identity from position. It learns to sacrifice pieces, including pieces of itself, for the larger victory. Here is what separates level 5 from everything below it. The strategic mind does not fight battles. It selects them. It knows that every conflict has a cost: energy, time, exposure, reputation. The untrained mind fights every battle that presents itself and calls it strength. The strategic mind lets most battles pass and calls it wisdom. Not every provocation requires a response. Not every enemy requires destruction. Some enemies are more useful alive and visible than dead and forgotten. Some battles are traps designed to drain you, while the real threat moves in silence. The strategic mind sees these traps. It sees the hand behind the hand. It reads the second and third layers of every situation. But even this level has its limits. Strategy operates on logic. It operates on patterns, and the most dangerous opponents do not follow patterns. They create them. To defeat those who also think strategically, you must evolve beyond strategy itself. You must enter the realm of psychology. Level 6 awaits those who are ready to understand not just the game, but the players themselves. Level 6, the manipulator's mind. Now we cross into territory that most people will never admit exists. This is the realm of dark psychology. This is where intelligence stops being about what you know and starts being about who you can move. The manipulator's mind has mastered something that changes everything. It has mastered the art of seeing people not as they present themselves, but as they truly are, beneath the masks, beneath the words, beneath the carefully constructed identities. It sees the fears that drive decisions, the insecurities that shape behavior, the hidden desires that people will never speak aloud but will sacrifice everything to fulfill. This is not cruelty, this is clarity. The manipulator's mind understands that every human being is running on software. Childhood wounds, unmet needs, ego protection mechanisms, shame, pride, the desperate hunger for validation. These are not flaws, these are levers. And once you see the levers, you can move anyone in any direction without them ever knowing they were moved. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the manipulator's mind understands something deeper. It is best to be neither feared nor loved. It is best to be needed. When you become the source of what someone desperately wants, you do not need threats or affection. You have something far more powerful. You have dependency. The manipulator's mind creates dependency without ever appearing to do so. It positions itself as the solution to problems it sometimes creates. It gives validation strategically, withdrawing it just enough to create hunger, but never so much that the target seeks it elsewhere. This is not theory. This is happening around you every single day, in boardrooms, in relationships, in politics, in media. Those who operate at this level understand that reality is perception, and perception can be engineered. But here is the warning that must be given. Level 6 is intoxicating, and it is dangerous, not because it does not work. It works terrifyingly well. The danger is what it does to the one who wields it. Many who reach this level become consumed by it. They begin to see every interaction as a game, every person as a target, every relationship as a transaction. They lose the ability to connect genuinely because they cannot turn off the analysis. They become powerful but empty, feared but alone, surrounded by people they have captured but understood by no one. The manipulator's mind is a tool. It is an extraordinarily powerful tool, but a tool is only as good as the hand that wields it and the purpose it serves. If you reach this level and stop here, you will gain the world but lose something far more valuable. You will lose yourself. You will become the mask. The game will become your prison. This is why level 6 is not the destination. It is a dangerous crossing point. It is the place where you must decide what kind of power you truly want. Power over others is the lowest form of power. It requires constant maintenance, constant vigilance, constant manipulation. True power, sovereign power, is power over yourself. And that is something manipulation can never give you. Use this level, master its principles, understand human nature at its deepest levels, but do not build your throne here. The architecture of true power lies beyond. Level 7 is where manipulation ends and creation begins. Level 7, the architect's mind. This is the level the title warned you about. Only a few reach level 7, and now you will understand why. The architect does not play games. The architect builds the game itself. While others compete within systems, the architect designs the systems within which others compete. This is a fundamental shift in consciousness. It is the difference between being a piece on the board and being the hand that constructed the board. The manipulator influences individuals. The architect influences environments. The manipulator wins interactions. The architect wins eras. Think about the structures that govern your life: the economy, the legal system, social hierarchies, corporate ladders, educational pathways. These did not appear by accident. They were architected. They were designed by minds operating at this level, minds that understood a simple truth. If you control the structure, you do not need to control the people. The people will control themselves. They will follow the paths you have laid. They will chase the rewards you have defined. They will avoid the punishments you have established. And they will believe, truly believe, that they are making free choices. This is invisible power. This is power that does not need to assert itself because it has become the air that everyone breathes. The architect's mind thinks in decades, not days. It plants seeds knowing it may never see the tree. It sacrifices immediate gains for positional advantages that will compound across generations. Patience is not a virtue at this level. Patience is the weapon. Most people cannot operate here because they cannot escape their own timeline. They are trapped in the immediate, the urgent, the now. They need results they can see, validation they can feel, progress they can measure. The architect has killed this need. The architect has learned to work in silence, in shadows, in the spaces between what is visible and what is real. Machiavelli himself was an architect. He did not seek the throne. He sought to shape those who would sit upon it. His words have influenced leaders for 500 years. His frameworks still govern political thought. He built something that outlasted every prince, every kingdom, every empire of his time. That is architectural power. But understand this: to become an architect, you must first become invisible. You must release the need to be recognized, the need to be credited, the need to be seen as powerful. The architect lets others stand in the spotlight while the blueprint remains hidden. The architect lets puppets believe they are kings while the strings dissolve into the background. This requires ego death at the deepest level, not the pretend humility that many perform, true dissolution of the self that needs applause. If you cannot do this, you will never reach level 7. You will remain a manipulator, skilled but exposed, powerful but vulnerable, winning battles while architects win centuries. The architect's mind also understands failure differently. A lost battle is data. A destroyed plan is education. A collapsed structure is the foundation for a better one. There is no emotional attachment to outcomes because the architect is always building, always iterating, always evolving. The current game is never the final game. There is always another level being constructed beneath the surface. You are now entering rare air. Most who hear these words will nod and return to level 3 by morning. But you, if you are still here, if something in you recognizes this path, then perhaps you are ready for what comes next. The Sovereign awaits. Level 8. The Sovereign Mind. You have now entered a realm that has no map, no guidebook, no mentor waiting to show you the way. The Sovereign Mind stands alone, not because it chooses isolation, but because so few ever arrive here that companionship becomes rare. This is the level of complete and total self-mastery, not the illusion of control that most people settle for. True dominion over every thought, every emotion, every impulse, every fear that once held power over you. The Sovereign answers to no one, not because of arrogance, but because the Sovereign has internalized all authority. There is no external validation needed, no applause required, no recognition sought. The Sovereign has become a closed circuit of power, generating energy from within, requiring nothing from the outside world to feel complete. This is what makes the Sovereign untouchable. You cannot manipulate what has no hooks. You cannot threaten what does not fear. You cannot bribe what does not want. You cannot destabilize what is anchored in itself. Every manipulation technique, every dark psychology tactic, every strategic assault requires a point of entry, a weakness, a desire, a fear, an insecurity. The Sovereign has systematically identified and eliminated each one, not suppressed, not hidden, eliminated. This is the work of years, perhaps decades. It requires a relentless confrontation with the self. Every shadow must be faced. Every wound must be healed. Every lie you have told yourself must be exposed and burned away. Most people will never do this work because it is painful beyond description. It is easier to build empires in the external world than to conquer the kingdom within. But the Sovereign understands something critical. External power built on internal weakness is a castle made of sand. The tide always comes. The enemies always find the crack. The unhealed wound always becomes the point of collapse. History is filled with powerful men destroyed not by external enemies, but by their own unmastered selves. Addictions, insecurities, uncontrolled desires, fears they never faced. The Sovereign does not repeat this pattern. The Sovereign builds from the inside out. Machiavelli touched on this when he wrote about the importance of a prince controlling his own nature. But even Machiavelli did not go deep enough. He wrote for men still seeking external thrones. The sovereign has realized that the only throne worth occupying is the one inside. Once that throne is claimed, all external thrones become optional. They become tools. They become choices rather than needs. The sovereign can have power in the world or walk away from it completely. Both options are equal because neither defines the sovereign's worth. This is freedom that most people cannot even imagine. They are so enslaved by their needs for status, for approval, for security, for validation, that the idea of true independence sounds like fantasy. But it is not fantasy. It is the result of systematic work. It is the reward for those willing to pay the price that others refuse. The sovereign mind also operates differently in conflict. Lower levels fight to win. The sovereign fights only when fighting serves a purpose and walks away without hesitation when it does not. There is no ego in battle. No need to prove anything. No attachment to being right or being seen as strong. The sovereign can lose a battle deliberately if losing serves the larger vision. The sovereign can appear weak to those who do not understand, because appearing weak is sometimes the strongest position. This level of detachment terrifies those who have never experienced it. They mistake it for coldness, for emptiness, for lack of humanity. But it is the opposite. The sovereign feels everything, sees everything, understands everything. The difference is that feeling no longer dictates action. Emotion becomes information rather than instruction. Fear signals danger but does not create paralysis. Anger signals boundary violation but does not create blindness. Desire signals opportunity but does not create obsession. Everything is seen, everything is felt, nothing controls. This is mastery, this is sovereignty. This is the level where you become truly untouchable, not because you have built walls around yourself, but because you have become so complete within yourself that external forces simply pass through. They find no resistance because there is nothing to resist. They find no target because there is no fixed position. You become like water, formless, adaptable, unstoppable. But even here, there is one level beyond. One final evolution that transcends even the sovereign. For those rare few who are ready, level 9 awaits. Level 9. The Transcendent Mind. We have arrived at the peak, the summit that exists beyond ambition, beyond strategy, beyond even sovereignty itself. This is the level that cannot be taught. It can only be realized. The Transcendent Mind has completed the ultimate journey. It has moved through unconsciousness into awareness, through reaction into response, through tribal identity into individual sovereignty, through manipulation into creation, through architecture into formlessness. And now it has released even the need for power itself. This is not weakness. This is not surrender. This is the final evolution. The Transcendent Mind understands something that shatters every framework we have discussed. It understands that all games, including the game of power, are constructions. They are agreed upon illusions. They have reality only because minds collectively believe in them. The Transcendent does not reject these games. It sees through them while still being able to play them. It holds power without being held by power. It moves through the world without being of the world. This is the level where Machiavelli meets the mystic, where strategy dissolves into presence, where calculation surrenders to intuition. The Transcendent Mind no longer thinks its way through reality. It feels the currents beneath the surface. It knows without knowing how it knows. It acts without deliberation because deliberation has become unnecessary. Every lesson has been so deeply internalized that wisdom has become instinct. Most people will dismiss this level as abstract philosophy, as spiritual nonsense, as impractical idealism, and for them it is, because you cannot reach level 9 through the mind alone. You cannot think your way here. You cannot strategize your way here. You cannot manipulate your way here. You can only become your way here. The Transcendent Mind has integrated every shadow. It has faced every fear, not just to eliminate weakness, but to reclaim the energy that was trapped within those fears. It has forgiven, not because forgiveness is moral, but because holding resentment is a chain that binds the one who holds it. It has released every attachment, not because attachment is wrong, but because attachment limits the formlessness required to operate at this level. What remains is something difficult to describe. Pure awareness operating through a human form. Intelligence that is not separate from the intelligence that moves galaxies. Power that does not need to assert itself because it is the same power that grows forests and moves oceans. The transcendent mind has realized the final secret. There is no separation. The war between self and other was always an illusion. The competition for power was a game played within a larger unity that was never threatened by any outcome. This does not make the transcendent passive. Quite the opposite. It makes action effortless. When there is no internal conflict, when there is no resistance, when there is no fear of loss or craving for gain, action flows without obstruction. The right move becomes obvious. The right word arrives without searching. The right path illuminates itself. This is what the ancient texts meant by flow, by alignment, by being in harmony with the way things are, not forcing, not resisting, not grasping, simply being what you are and doing what is yours to do. The transcendent mind leaves no legacy because it needs no legacy. It leaves no monument because monuments are attempts to defeat time, and the transcendent has stepped outside of time entirely. It changes the world, not through force or strategy or manipulation, but through presence. Simply by being what it is, it gives permission for others to become what they are. This is influence beyond influence, power beyond power, intelligence beyond intelligence. If you have truly heard these words, something within you has recognized itself. Something that was asleep is beginning to stir. Something that was fragmented is beginning to remember its wholeness. That recognition is not coming from me. It is coming from the part of you that already operates at levels you have not yet consciously claimed. Trust that part. Follow that part. Let it guide you beyond everything you think you know. The 9 levels are not a ladder to climb. They are a map of what you already are. You contain all 9 within you right now. The only question is which level you choose to operate from in any given moment. Choose wisely. And now, if you have made it this far, you are not like the others. You are not part of the masses who clicked away after level 2. You stayed. You listened. You absorbed. That alone tells me something about you. You are ready for more. You are hungry for depth that the surface world cannot provide. So here is what I ask of you. If this video has shifted something in your mind, if it has opened a door you did not know existed, drop a comment below with these words: I have awakened. Let that be your declaration, your mark, your first step into a new level of being. And if you want more content that goes this deep, that challenges you this directly, that refuses to give you comfortable lies, then subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the notification bell so you never miss what comes next. Like this video so the algorithm knows to share this with others who are ready. The game has changed. You have changed. Now act like it.